It's 2 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. Your mind is running through numbers you didn't ask it to run. The credit card balance. The car that's been making a noise for 2 weeks. The rent that goes up again next month. This isn't a story about someone unusually unlucky. According to a 2025 bank rate survey, 41% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency expense with their savings right now. Nearly 1 in 4 has less than $1,000 in their account at all. Here's what nobody tells you about that feeling. There's a specific number that makes it stop. It's not $1 million. It's not even $100,000. It's $10,000. And yet most people who set a $100,000 goal quit before they ever see $10,000. Why? Stay through the end because the last section is the one most people don't expect. And it's the part that actually makes all of this work. If this kind of breakdown is what you're looking for, subscribe. New episode every week. Section 1. Why your 100K goal is quietly stopping you. The moment you write down $100,000 as your savings goal, your brain starts doing something you didn't ask it to do. It calculates the distance, and distance kills action before it starts. Psychologist Albert Bandura spent decades studying why people follow through on goals, and why they don't. His finding was consistent. People don't act on goals they don't believe they can reach. It's not motivation that drives behavior. It's belief that the next step is actually possible. Think about it like a video game. You start at level 1. The final boss is level 99. You don't feel fired up. You feel the gap. And that gap makes you put down the controller before you even try. $100,000 is a level 99 goal when you have $0 saved. $10,000 is level 2. Close enough that your brain says, maybe I can actually do that. That shift from I can't to maybe I can is where everything begins. Here's what most people don't know about the ones who actually hit $100,000. They didn't aim at $100,000 first. They aimed at $10,000. Hit it. Then aimed again. Remember this. Setting $10,000 as your target isn't lowering your ambition. It's the most realistic path to your first step toward $1 million. Section 2. The real reason you think you're bad at saving. Let me guess. You've said this at least once. I'm just not good with money. Here's the truth. That's not a personality trait. That's a story you picked up somewhere, and you've been living inside it ever since. In psychology, this is called identity. And identity is more powerful than motivation because motivation runs out. Identity keeps running quietly in the background. If you believe you're someone who can't save, every time you try to save, you're working against yourself. The behavior and the identity are in conflict, and identity almost always wins. But here's what changes everything. Identity isn't fixed. It's built through small repeated actions. Every time you move $50 into a savings account, you're not just saving $50, you're casting a vote for a new version of yourself. I am someone who saves. Do it enough times and the story changes. Not through willpower, through repetition. Now, willpower is a terrible savings strategy. It runs on emotion. Emotion is inconsistent. One bad week and it disappears. But a system doesn't run on emotion. One automatic transfer set up once runs every single month. Whether you feel like it or not, the people who hit $10,000 aren't more disciplined than you. They just stopped relying on discipline and built a system instead. Set up one automatic transfer today. Even $100. The amount matters less than the system existing. Section 3. What $10,000 actually does to your life. First, a number. A 2025 bank rate survey found that 41% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency expense from savings. Nearly 1 in 4 has less than $1,000 in their account right now. Here's what life looks like in that situation. You're at the grocery store. The total appears on the screen. And before you can even think about what you want, your brain is already running the calculation. How much is left on the card? Whether this is going to cause a problem later this week. You're not choosing what you want. You're choosing what you can manage. Now imagine the same grocery store with $10,000 sitting in a separate account. The total appears on the screen. The calculation doesn't start because there's nothing to calculate. Instead, there's only one question left. Do I actually want this? That shift sounds small. It isn't. It's not just the grocery store. It's every decision you make. A better opportunity shows up at work. Instead of, can I afford to take a risk right now? You ask, is this the right direction for me? A friend suggests a trip. Instead of a quiet calculation about whether you can manage it, you ask whether it's actually something you want to do. $10,000 doesn't make you rich. What it does is remove the fear from your decisions. And when fear leaves, judgment takes its place. Better judgment leads to better decisions. Better decisions change your life. I remember the exact moment it clicked for me. I was at a grocery store and I realized I hadn't checked a single price tag. I was just choosing what I actually wanted. And then it hit me. The difference between the two versions of that cart? Maybe a few dollars. That's when something caught in my chest. Not because of what I was buying, but because I couldn't understand why it had taken this long to feel this way. Do you want to feel that too? Then do this today. Open a second savings account, separate from your main one. Label it buffer only. This account doesn't get touched for goals. It exists to remove fear from your decisions. 5 minutes. That's all it takes. Section 4, how $5 a day becomes $10,000 and what happens after. Everyone knows compound interest is powerful. Most people never actually feel it. Here's why. Your brain is wired to value things happening right now, far more than things happening later. Researchers tested this directly. Given the choice between $50 today or $100 in a month, most people took the $50. That's not stupidity. That's 200,000 years of human programming. Warren Buffett is worth over $130 billion, not because he's smarter than everyone else, because he's spent 80 years consistently overriding that bias. So how do you start practically? Take 1 coffee a day, $5. Instead of spending it, set up an automatic daily investment of $5 into an S&P 500 index. Fund through an app like Robinhood or Fidelity. 1 setup, done. That's $125 a year in contributions. But here's the part most people miss. The returns start compounding from day 1, which means year 2 you're building on more than just your contributions. You're building on growth too. Over the last 10 years, from 2014 to 2024, the S&P 500 index delivered an average annual return of 11.3%. At that rate, $5 a day gets you to $10,000 in approximately 4.2 years. Not comfortable with the stock market? That's fine. An Apple savings account or Robinhood Gold membership will still pay you significantly more than a standard checking account. Pick whatever method works for you. The only rule is this: don't let your money sit in a checking account doing nothing. That's not saving. That's just waiting. Start today, not this week, today. And once you hit $10,000, here's the only thing you need to know. Compound interest takes over. How fast your $10,000 becomes $50,000, then $100,000 will genuinely surprise you. The first $10,000 is the hardest stretch you will ever do. After that, the math fights for you. The link to a compound interest calculator is in the description. Run your own numbers. Seeing it is different from hearing it. Section 5. The 3 setbacks that are coming and how to stay in the game. Here's what the motivational videos don't tell you. Between $0 and $10,000, something will go wrong. Not might. Will. I'm going to tell you exactly what's coming. Because a setback you've already named can't stop you the same way. Setback 1. An unexpected expense takes a chunk of what you've saved. Your instinct will say, "See, this is why it never works for people like me." That's not a signal. That's the fear talking. You rebuild. You keep the system running. The setback isn't the end. It's the tuition. Setback 2. Someone around you spends money on something you wanted and couldn't justify. A trip, a car, a dinner out. You'll feel the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and it will feel unfair. This is one of the most underestimated forces in personal finance. The fix isn't willpower. It's distance from the comparison. Mute, unfollow, redirect. Setback 3. Around month 4 or 5, the number in your account won't feel like it's moving. It is. You just can't see compound growth at the beginning. This is the phase where most people quit, right before the curve starts bending upward. The people who make it through don't have more discipline. They just know this phase has a name, and they wait it out. Write down these 3 setbacks somewhere. You'll see them. When one arrives, you've already met it. That changes everything. Nobody taught you this sequence in school. Not because it's a secret, because the curriculum was never designed around you building independent wealth. But you have it now. The goal rewires how your brain approaches the possible. The habit rebuilds who you believe you are. The buffer removes fear from every decision you make. The math switches sides, and knowing what's coming means the setbacks can't stop you. You don't need $100,000 to begin. You need $10,000. And you don't need $10,000 to begin. You need the next 5. You came in thinking $100,000 was the number that mattered. You're leaving knowing it's $10,000. And more importantly, why? That's 2 whys I'm pursuing. If this helped you see the system clearer, subscribe and tell me in the comments, which of these 5 sections hit closest to where you are right now?